seems to hold me like you.
Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. As you guys saw from the title of today's video, this week I'll be reading books specifically selected by a book club, and the book club is Aardvark. If you've never heard of them before, they're basically a monthly book box subscription focused on highlighting the hottest new releases. So every month they choose 5 hardcover books picked across different genres, so romance and thrillers and YA, in which members can order their picks, and once the members read the books that they picked out, they can discuss what their thoughts were on said books through the Aardvark Book Club app, which is so cool because not only are you enjoying books that are delivered to you every month, but you get to also be part of a community and talk about the books that you read, which I think is so fun. Membership is $17.99 a month with free shipping, but if you use my code Carmen, you can sign up to receive your first book and sign up for the book club for only $4. Yes, $4. That is such an amazing deal, and it's such a wallet friendly way to try out a book club. Again, only $4. You literally can't go wrong, so definitely give them a try. But Aardvark was super nice, and they actually sent me a box to try out, which is why I decided to film this video. They're not paying me to film this video. I just wanted to read the books that they picked out for me with you guys to give them a try and show you guys how their subscription service works. I think it'll be fun and a nice change of pace, and they sent me books that I normally wouldn't pick out on my own. So it's always fun when someone else picks out books for you. Let me show you the books that they sent me. Here are the 3 books that they sent me to read this month. The first one is A Spinster's Guide to Danger and Dukes by Amanda Collins. The second book, For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. And then we have Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. Look how cute these hardcovers are. They're so pretty, especially this one. This one I need to read ASAP because I know it's going to be such a good beach read. I just have a feeling about it. And then this one is giving very much historical fiction romance, which I'm here for. And these are the 3 books that I'm going to be reading this week. And they also included 2 little bookmarks, which I think is so cute. I think I want to read Same Time Next Summer first and see what it's giving. Okay, so the synopsis goes, Sam's life is on track. She has the perfect doctor fiance, a great job in Manhattan, and is about to tour a wedding venue near her family's Long Island beach house. Everything should go to plan. Yet the minute she arrives, Wyatt is here, her Wyatt. But there's no reason for a 30-year-old engaged woman to feel panic around the guy who broke her heart when she was 16, right? Yet being back at the beach, hearing notes from Wyatt's guitar float across the night air from next door as if no time has passed, Sam's memories come flooding back. The feel of Wyatt's skin on hers, their nights in the treehouse, and the truth behind their split. Sam remembers who she used to be, and as Wyatt re-enters her life, their connection is as undeniable as it always was. She will have to make a choice. So it's giving very much friends to lovers and second chance romance, which I'm not a huge fan of childhood friends to lovers. They always let me down. So I don't know how to feel about this one, but we shall see. I just noticed that there's a little treehouse on the cover, and Wyatt is in the treehouse with the guitar. It's the little details, you guys. That is adorable. Maybe this book will be the exception to my whole hating friends to lovers, and maybe I'll end up loving this book. Who knows? But let's start reading. Guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I did a blue eyeliner today, and it's kind of a vibe. Let's get up close and personal. I always wear like a black eyeliner, and honestly on camera, it looks like I'm wearing a black eyeliner, but it's actually a blue eyeliner, like a navy eyeliner. I'm trying to switch my makeup up a little bit, trying to spice things up, especially for the fall. So I decided to pair this navy sweatshirt with a navy eyeliner, and I'm kind of here for it. I don't know. You can't really tell, can you? But it's there. Turned on the second light in our bathroom to see if you guys could see the eyeliner better, but oh, you can see a little bit better. My eyes are so dark that I think it makes the eyeliner look black. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this blue eyeliner is a little bit of a vibe.
So comfortable.
Hi, cutie.
And no one seems to hold me like you do. So wonderful.
I'm about 62 pages into this book. Following the classic friends to lovers, second chance romance format. Like, it's being told in alternating timelines, so we get to see how the two main characters became friends, how they ended up dating, basically their childhood, because they have known each other since they were kids. And then we also get to see them in the present time. The writing is flowing really nicely, but I can't say that I'm obsessed yet. It's kind of hard for me to believe that a 30-year-old woman is stuck on her childhood ex, on someone that broke up with her when she was 16 years old. Like, I get the importance of your first love and how your first love can have a lasting impact on your life, but this woman is 30 years old. She's currently engaged, and it still seems like she's hung up on her ex that again broke up with her when she was 16 years old. It's so hard for me to believe that, and it's quite sad that that's the case. Like, girl, move on. I understand it's supposed to be a second chance at their romance, but at the same time I'm like, oh my god, you're 30 years old and you still seem traumatized over this breakup that happened more than 15 years ago. Like, her whole life up to this point has revolved on her getting past the breakup and making everyone know and think that she's moved on, but deep down she knows that she really hasn't moved on. And her fiance is giving me like the weirdest vibes. I'm not really liking him. There's certain things that he says to his fiance that I'm just like, but I also kind of low-key feel bad because it's obvious that Sam has feelings for her ex, Wyatt, and it's not fair to her fiance, even though he's low-key an ass. It's not fair to him that they're engaged and she has feelings for another man, you know? So I'm kind of having a hard time processing all of that.
A star could never shine as bright as you. Shine as bright as you. Even the dark days still see light. Even the birds still sing at night. Every word just comes out right when I'm with you, with you.
Guys, it's a little bit later, even though I'm in the exact same spot as before. And I just finished part 1 of the book, and I have to say that I'm kind of impressed with it, just because as a reader, you actually find out what caused Sam's and Wyatt's breakup when they were 16 pretty early on in the storyline. Like I said, I just finished part 1 and I already know what caused them to end the relationship, or I should say what caused Wyatt to end the relationship with Sam. And I really like that because normally with childhood friends to lovers and second chance romance books, you don't find out what caused the two characters to break up until the very end. And every time I've read a childhood friends to lover book, whenever I find out what caused their breakup, I absolutely hate the reason. And with this one, the reason is actually realistic and I can understand Wyatt's point of view on why he had to end the relationship. So I appreciate that and I like that. I'm just glad it wasn't a cheating trope, because I feel like most of the childhood friends to lover books that I've read, they always include a cheating trope and it ruins the book for me completely. So I'm really glad that this book does not include a cheating trope that involves the two main characters, because I would have stopped reading. Honestly, I would have DNF'd it because I'm so sick of that trope, but we can keep on reading since that's not the case here. And I've been wearing my AirPods nonstop. Ignore that.
I feel so lucky I met you, and I still can't believe that I get to see those eyes for more.
Okay guys, it is now the next day and I finished same time next summer this morning. I only had a couple pages left because I did not want to stop reading yesterday. Every time I had a chance to pick up this book, I picked it up and read so many chapters. It's also a very quick read. It's super short. I think it's only like 285 pages. Here are my thoughts. I definitely think this is a super cute book. I loved the summer vibes. It's definitely a perfect beach read. I'm so glad that I read this before summer is officially over, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much, hi baby, if I had read it during the fall season. I'm just like such a mood reader like that, and I like to match my books with the seasons, if that makes sense. I'm really glad that I was able to read this before August is over. And it's a very cute book. I love that it was only 285 pages. I think it was a perfect length. Any longer and I would have felt like the story was getting dragged on, but since it was only 285 pages, I feel like the book went straight to the point and didn't have a lot of filler, and I just had a really good time reading this book. As I've mentioned before, I don't really love the friends to lovers trope. I just feel like with those books, normally the reason the two main characters stop talking to one another is for like a stupid reason, and a reason that could have easily been solved had they just communicated with one another. And I have a hard time believing that when you're super close with someone that you can share your thoughts with them or like talk through conflict. And a lot of those friends to lovers books that I've read, the reason that they stop talking to one another is just so stupid, versus in this book, the reason why the two main characters separated and stopped talking to one another for over a decade is realistic, and I can totally see that happening. For that reason, I feel like I enjoyed this book a lot more, and I really enjoy the two main characters. Like Sam, I'm not gonna lie, she did annoy me at certain parts of the book, but for the most part, I really love the two main characters. I love Wyatt. He has like my absolute heart, and I really loved their love story and the fact that they got a second opportunity to be together. So if I enjoy this book and I'm not a huge fan of friends to lovers, then I think if you love that trope, then you have to read this book, because I think you'll really enjoy it. Overall, I think I give this book 3.5 stars. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a perfect summer read. I didn't think it was anything like extraordinary. Like, I enjoyed it, I loved it, but it still felt kind of meh. And I think it's just because I didn't really like the tropes that were included in this book. But like I said, if you are a fan of second chance romances and childhood friends to lovers, then you'll have a field day with this book because you'll enjoy it so much. So definitely pick up. Same time next summer. We're off to a good start this week, and I'm excited to start the next book today and see how that one goes. I'm about to start A Spencer's Guide to Danger and Dukes by Amanda Collins. I think this one is a historical romance slash fake dating, and I don't know when this book takes place. Oh, I guess there's a trigger warning. Okay, good to know. Oh, okay. It takes place in 1867 in London. This should be fun. It's a romance between a regular woman and a duke. We'll see how this one goes, and I'll give you guys updates, of course, as I read along. Okay, you guys, so I just got to chapter 9. I'm about 110 pages into the book, and I have to say that I'm enjoying it immensely. I love the two main characters, Poppy and Joshua. Joshua is the Duke. He is the male main character of the story, and so far the Duke and Poppy have kind of made an arrangement with one another. So Poppy is pretending to be his fake fiance just so he can get his family off his back, because his grandmother wants to set up a marriage for him, and is like, I guess, has brought a ton of different women from wealthy families to try to court her grandson, and he wants no part of that. So he asks Poppy to pretend to be his fiance, and in return he's helping Poppy prove that her sister is innocent and that her sister did not murder her husband. That's another thing that I really like about this book, is that there's a hint of murder mystery. Yes, the book is primarily a romance book, but since Poppy is trying to prove that her sister is innocent, they're also trying to figure out who in fact murdered her husband. I really like that there's multiple plot lines going on. It's not just Poppy helping the Duke by pretending to be his fiance, like she's also working on helping prove that her sister is innocent, which is really cool. I love Poppy's character. She's so sassy, which I guess wasn't the norm for the time period. That's one thing that is kind of screwing me up a little bit, is the fact that there are words being used that I'm not used to, because these words were used like super back in the day and are no longer used now. Does that make sense? I feel like that was a roundabout way of saying that. Some of the words that are being used are so old-fashioned that I have to look them up to learn the meaning behind them. So that has been a learning curve with this book. I normally don't read a ton of historical romances, so that's on me. But I think if you love historical romances and you typically read a lot of them, then you probably won't encounter that problem. But Aside from that, like I said, I really love Poppy and Joshua together. They're super cute. I love their relationship. I love that Poppy's super sassy and then the Duke throws her right back at her, and I just love their dynamic with one another. So I'm really enjoying the book so far. I feel like I'm flying through it, and yeah, that's my little update for you guys. Loving the book so far.
If I could tell you, I don't think you'd believe how long I felt this way. I'm begging you to stay.
So I'm about to make some tea, and I wanted to give you guys a quick little update on the book. I just got to chapter 15, and it's very much a slow burn. Like, the two main characters haven't even kissed yet. I think if you are into slow burns, you'll really enjoy this book, and even if you're not, I still think you will really enjoy this story, because I'm not a fan of slow burns, but since this book isn't super long, and since there's also like a murder mystery plot to the story, I'm not bored. Normally with slow burns, I get bored very easily because not much is happening. But since there's a second plot that has to deal with a murder, the book is going by super fast, and every chapter is ending like on a little cliffhanger, which is making me want to continue reading to find out what's going to happen next. And I love that about the book. Also, the chapters aren't super long. They're not super short, but they're not super long. I don't know about you guys, but whenever a book has super long chapters, I feel like it takes me so much longer to get through the book. I don't know why. That's my little update. Still enjoying it. It's actually very funny in certain parts as well. Still really loving the two main characters, and I'm like so curious to know who the murderer is. Like, I have an idea of who it might be, which I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm right, then the author made it super obvious, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. Either way, really enjoying the book so far, and I'm going to make some tea and continue on reading. So I just finished reading A Spinster's Guide to Danger and Dukes, and I have some thoughts on it. I actually really enjoyed this book, and it's very surprising to me because I normally don't gravitate towards historical romances. Like, I have nothing against them. They're just not the type of book that I normally will grab at a bookstore, but I absolutely fell in love with this book. It was such a cute little romance story. I really liked that in addition to the whole romance plot, there was also a murder mystery plot, and I'm a sucker for a good murder mystery plot. This book is what My Killer Vacation, I think that's the title of the book, by Tessa Bailey, should have been. This was the perfect mix of murder mystery, lots of character development, lots of romance. Well, the romance was slow burn, but still there was like a good amount of it. I really loved everything about this book. The two main characters were so lovable. I loved the Duke. I loved Poppy. I said this earlier, but I loved how sassy her character was. She really didn't take crap from anyone, especially men, and I loved that she was pushing the social norms for the time period. Loved her and Joshua together. They have my heart, and I normally don't like slow burns, and I feel like this book was definitely a slow burn. You didn't really get to see a lot of the romance till like halfway through the book, but I really enjoyed that because it wasn't insta-love by any means. The characters really got to know one another. They went through some stuff together that made them get closer, but their love felt a lot more organic versus meeting each other right away and falling in love with one another. Like, that wasn't the case. There was a little bit of spice. There wasn't a ton of spice. There was just like a couple, like maybe one chapter that had like a spicy scene. I think this is the second book in a series. I haven't read the first book. Even though it's part of a series, I do think this is a perfect standalone book. But now that I know that it's part of a series, I'm definitely going to order the other two books and read them because I fell in love with Amanda's writing, and I think her other two books in the series are also like murder mystery / romance, which I'm all here for. And yeah, I really like this book. Overall, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and definitely check out this book if you haven't read it yet because I think it's definitely a cute little read. Next up, I'm going to be reading For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. This is like a LGBTQ plus romance, I believe, and it's also set in Hollywood, which should be interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book that had to deal with Hollywood in general. I don't think so. So this should be a fun little read. So let me quickly read the synopsis to you guys. Since a crushing breakup 3 years ago, Nina Rice has written romance, Friends, her dreams of script writing for TV, and even LA proper out of her life. Instead, she's safely out in the suburbs in her aunt's condo, working her talent agency job from home, managing celebrity email accounts, and certain that's plenty of writing and plot for her life. But a surprise meeting called by Ari Fox, a young actress on everyone's radar, stirs up all kinds of feelings Nina thought she deleted for good. Between reconnecting with her old crew and working on a new script, a relationship with a movie star seems like something she'll definitely mess up. But what could be more worth the risk? Let's see what this book is giving, you guys. I've never read anything from Amy Spalding, so we'll see. You guys, it literally is the same day, and I feel like I look I feel like I look like I've gone through it, and I low-key have gone through it. Oh, puppies. Oh, for some reason, my little guy, oh, actually, I think I know the reason. I think he's teething, but he outright refused to nap this morning. I cannot deal with my hair right now. He's been teething. Oh, I think he's teething. He's been extra fussy lately. So from literally 9 a.m. until 12:30-ish, he like refused to nap. And it was so hard to try to get him to fall asleep. So I feel like I've been through a lot this morning. Anyways, it's much later. I've managed to read about 50 pages of the book. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not loving it so far. I find it really hard to believe that the main character, Nina, literally stopped talking to her group of friends that she knew before her ex, but she stopped talking to her group of friends after her ex broke up with her for 3 years. And none of these friends ever decided to reach out to her to check in on her and to see how she was doing. That is so hard for me to believe, and I don't know, I don't really like Nina's character, if I'm being honest. I get that she thinks she's a bad influence for her friend group, but at the same time, you've known your friends for longer. Wouldn't you think that they would tell you if you had bad habits or if they couldn't be around you because you were like, I guess, a bad influence on them? Wouldn't you give them the benefit of the doubt to let them tell you that themselves instead of taking the word of an ex who clearly doesn't want to be with you? I'm not like loving the book. I'm gonna continue reading because it might pick up, but right now I'm just confused as to the plot and like how someone can actually do that. Okay, I must go now. Duty calls. Guys, I've fully have lost this book somewhere in my apartment. I don't know where I put this book last. It's actually been a few days since I last spoke to you guys. Let me get cozy in bed so we can talk about this book. The lighting's also not going to be the greatest because it's currently raining outside, so it's very dark, but it's also kind of a vibe, like hearing the rain in the background. Anyways, can you guys hear the thunder? I have no idea where I put this book. I had it 1 minute and then I went to pick up my son and I don't know where I left the book. Whatever, pretend it's on the screen. I struggled to get through this book. It took me a few days to get through it. I feel like the first 2 books that I read in this reading vlog, I flew through them and I read them within a matter of like a day, max 2 days. So this one definitely took me the rest of the week to read because it was so incredibly slow and there wasn't really much going on. I didn't love the main character, Nina. I felt like she was all over the place and she was selfish when she was trying not to be selfish, which didn't make any sense. She kept ditching her friends and I didn't really like that. I did love Ari for like the first half of the book, the majority of the book, honestly, and then something happened halfway through and her behavior was just so off-putting. Like she wanted to control everything, and you know, I get it. Like I'm a huge control freak. If I feel like I don't have control of a situation that I'm involved with, it gives me major anxiety. However, she was being controlling with something that had nothing to do with her but had to do with Nina, and she was trying to control Nina's life, and to me that is a major red flag. And she got mad at Nina for doing something to her back, which was so minor compared to what Ari was doing to Nina, even though Nina had told her not to get involved. And then she had the audacity to get pissed off. Though she was pissed off and Nina was pissed off, Nina took the blame of the whole problem that was going on. I'm trying to be so vague without giving too much away, but I still want you guys to kind of understand what I'm saying. Nina felt bad and she felt like she was responsible for the relationship problem, when in fact I feel like Ari was more to blame. And then magically at the end everything was resolved. I don't know, didn't like it. I also felt it was way longer than it needed to be. I don't know, I don't really care about Hollywood. I don't care about celebrities. I don't really care about like the whole acting, writing world, so maybe that's why I just didn't really connect with this book. Whoa. There were a couple funny parts in the story, but overall it definitely was a very meh read for me. I don't think I'll ever go back to this book. I don't think I'll ever think about it, if I'm being honest. I'm debating whether or not to give it a 2-star rating or a 3-star rating, because there were some parts that were actually pretty funny, but at the same time, the minute I would start liking the book, something would happen and I would be like, okay, I am not enjoying this whatsoever. So I don't know what rating to give it, honestly. I think I'm gonna hold off and think about this book for a couple more days and figure out what rating to give it. But right now I'm sitting between a 2 and a 3. Maybe I'll give it like a 2.5 to meet somewhere in the middle. But I will say that this is the end of this week's reading vlog. I cannot speak today. I need to go take a nap somewhere. Look at my cat right now. She's trying to get under the covers. Are you in? She's in. Okay, bye. And she's in. Overall, you guys, I had a lot of fun this week reading these 3 books. I feel like these 2 especially are books that I normally wouldn't gravitate towards and I normally wouldn't pick up. So it was pretty fun to read books kind of out of my comfort zone this week based on what Aardvark sent me. Don't forget to check them out and use my code Carmen. So your first book club box is only $4. It's such a good deal. Don't forget to check them out and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.